Hello and welcome to a little stream. Oh my god, why can't I hear myself? Oh, I don't want that. Sorry. Okay, let's start again. Hello and welcome to tonight's stream, a cheeky little Sunday night stream. We are going to be doing some painting tonight. I haven't painted in a couple of weeks and I felt like it. I was in the mood to paint, so that is what we are going to do. Now, why is the chat box like that? I think I just need to fix chat real quick. If you're on YouTube, I'm just going to skip past this part real quick, so bear with me. We're going to roll with that. But yes, we are coming. We're back, and we are back with, like I was saying, a painting stream tonight. What are we painting? I'm so not mentally prepared ever when I come on here. Basically, I kind of just jump on in and fly by the seat of my pants. But let me just show you what we are painting. Last time we were here, we painted this little fella. Is it gonna work? Is it gonna... Do I have to do this little guy? He is one of the evil Chaos Space Boys. So that was a lot of fun. Today we have 5 of him, but we're going on to the second version. This is the guy I chosen to paint today. So as you can see, he is primed and ready. He has been primed in the lead belcher in the Citadel spray primer thing. So he is primed and ready to receive some paint. Now, a cool feature about this little fella that this guy from the other week doesn't have is that, I don't know if you'll be able to see, let me change a view to this one. So if you look at him down on the ground, he actually has a little Space Marine helmet that he's stomped on. So it's just like an extra little thing to be mindful of when I'm painting so that I don't forget to paint that. So that's fun, but as you can see, yeah, he is super intricate. There's maybe another stream where we're about the funny goggles and rock those for a little bit later on once we have him covered in a base and a contrast, so I can get into the nitty gritty little details. You can see there's I need a detailer, hang on. As you can see, he has a skull on his knee right here. He's got this grate on this knee. Of course, horns and spiky parts everywhere. He's got a little eye on his chest plate here. What's he got? He's got his little gun which has this cool little chainy thing here. If you can see, this shoulder pad has it's skull designed, but then there's eaten away metal. You can see the exposed tech under there, which is always fun to do. What else has he got? What's over here? This side's looking pretty standard. He's got a big sword, obviously, but the sword doesn't have too much going on. What's on his back? Not too much again, just a lot of trim. He's got his classic little jetpacks. That's kind of it. The coolest thing about him is probably the skull on the knee and the Space Boy helmet down below. But other than that, he's pretty much just like this guy. Actually, let's dive into that. I didn't think the view from before actually showed it in detail, but this is who we did last time we were here. So as you can see, he's kind of well, on camera he kind of looks like dark blue, but in real life he is more purple, and he has the gold trim. What else has he got? He's also got that exposed sort of hardware on this shoulder pad. He's got his sword with now that hasn't really come up too well actually now that this is dried, but it does have some blood splatter along the sword. I might need to touch that up, but that's his problem for another day. Over here he's got his gun, which we tried to do the blue sort of, that thing. People encouraged me in the chat to do that. I don't think it turned out too well. And what else has he got? It's kind of it. Now, he was the first one out of the Chaos Boys that we did, and we started off doing it. If you haven't watched it, you can find it on my YouTube channel, Nicola NC. But we started off doing like a white underneath the gold to try to make it pop. It didn't need it. The gold is the, what is it? Skull Crusher brass color that I use, and honestly, that goes on a dark color beautifully. You don't even need white under it, so I scrapped that after I did the legs because it just, yeah, did not need it. Unnecessary detail. But yeah, that's him. That's what we did. So that's what we're going to have another crack at, do another one. And I've got my water. Where's my towel? I've got a little towel which I dry my brushes on. That lives here. I have, this is the swatch that I've been working off of for these guys. So as you can see, I tried to like check out different colors. I will walk you through each color as I go through. As per usual, if you're new here, I like to tell you what paints I'm using. And if you're watching on YouTube, I do put the paints in the bottom corner down here. So you will see what paints I'm using, but they are all by Citadel because that's just what I use. So I am open to paint recommendations because these Citadel paints, you know, they're not the best. They're just what's readily available in this scene. So if there are paint recommendations that you have, please put them in the comments. I am super open to trying new things, and if it's better than these, I'm all ears. One thing that I have noticed with these guys that I'm super mad about is that they keep drying out. This is one, for instance, the Dryad bark. It's super gluggy, and I have put some Tamiya X20 thinner in it, but it's just still super gluggy. I'm not too sure how many drops to do, but I tried 5 and it still didn't really do too much, so it is what it is. But we have our colors. These are the ones that we're using. If I need to change it, I can. I've got them all to my left here. But let me get my brushes. So I've got my detail brush. Now, if you're wondering, oh, Nicola, I wonder what brushes you use. I don't know. This one doesn't even have a name. I got it from like Sheen for like nail art, but it's fantastic for getting in little tiny details. This is a Cotman 000. I don't know, works pretty good. This one is a Citadel one that has seen better days, but it works. And I have a couple of these. That one doesn't even have a brand anymore. See, my red flag, I guess, is that I leave my paintbrushes in water and then they go all weird shaped and the paint on the handles come off, so that's always fun. Oh, this is, I have a Cotman 0000 as well with 4 zeros, which is great. And oh, this one's a little bit gross, a little bit nasty, but we have plenty of brushes in my water. Okay, let's get into it. What am I doing? Where am I up to? Where's my guy? This guy. So my first step that I did with this guy was actually covering him in an all over wash. And oh God, that was using this color right here, the contrast in the shyish purple, because maybe it didn't make a difference, but to me, I feel like it did. And it basically allowed the dark purple to seep and pool and puddle into all of the little nooks and crannies, oh God, and little valleys and divots all over him, and adds just some details that I wouldn't be able to get into even with the detail brush and the zoomy goggles. So that is what I'm going to do starting off with. So I get my brush nice and wet, and I dunk it into the contrast color, and I just slather it on all over into the crevices, into the corners, and really just get him all shaded up with this color. Alright, so now that this guy is completely, like, he almost looks like he's been blacked out in this shade, I dunk my brush in the water, get it all nice and wet, and then so it's nice and clean, and then dry it off, and pick up some more water, and just sort of re-soak him in this water, and using my little towel, I kind of just wipe off any excess, but I keep dunking in the water, and dilute it down just because also it's like thins out the paint too, so thinner paint goes into the crevices more, gets into the shadowy spots, the shadowy areas, you know, like from The Lion King, and really just soak it in, get it in there, into everywhere. Oh god, this part is exceptionally messy. Oh god, because things are like spraying everywhere. It gets all on your fingers, on the mat below, all over your pajamas if you're wearing them, and yeah. This part does take a little while, just because there's a lot to absorb. Alrighty. Okay, so now that he has got his all over color, oh no, hang on, there's still like dry spots in some little crevices in here. One sec, guys. Now, it's probably not coming up on the stream, but he now has this like beautiful dark purple tint to him, which is just lovely. So that is the first step, number one. After that, I then go in with, actually, great question, what did I go in with? Was this? Yes, Nagaroth Night base color. So let me just shake this up real quick. And this is for any part of his body that like the armor is, because this is the color of the armor. Now I'm not going to use the big brush, I want to use a little brush. Don't forget to do their shoes. I always forget their shoes. Until like the end. But they need their matching shoes. It goes with the whole outfit. See, the second critter out of the 5, I find it is the easiest because the first one is it's the hardest because you got to figure out what color thing are you doing. So that by the time you come to do the second one, you've already figured it out. You already know what colors you're doing. It's a lot easier and quicker to paint the second one once you know, have already figured out what works, what doesn't with the first guy. The first guy is experimental. Second guy, you're like, oh, I'm a pro. I keep seeing my whole TikTok at the moment is filled with airbrushing on Warhammers. Now, this sounds like a great idea in theory. Putting it into practice, I don't know. I have used an airbrush machine before at work for makeup. Hey, Alexander. I am painting a Chaos Space Marine. He's currently upside down. That's him. Welcome. No, thanks for joining in the stream. But yes, I have used an airbrush before on for makeup purposes at work. And I just didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. Dark rosy gold bronze. Ooh, I haven't done any dark rosy gold bronze. I hope you like how this one turns out. I also think if I was to do the airbrushing technique in here, it would get so messy. Like, this is indoors, I'll probably inhale paint. This room doesn't have like a cooling system, so there's no aircon, there's no ceiling fan. I have a pedestal fan behind me, so I feel like that would just blow paint everywhere. The metal, I'm not sure what you would call it. Oh, so this guy is, oh my god, look at my fingers. Disgusting. He's been primed in the Citadel Lead Belcher primer, so it kind of gives like, I guess like the metally, shiny finish. Yeah. But yeah, that's the primer that I use, I guess. It just makes him a little bit more shiny. Maybe I could do like the airbrushing technique when it's a little bit cooler. Like say when it gets to winter time, I don't have to have the fan on in here. And I could do it. Or I might just have to take the stream outside. Could you imagine streaming outside? The neighbors will be like, what? She's up to it again? She's doing crazy things. More than temperature airbrushing really quick to my dryness. Yeah. Oh no, please, backseat paint. I take all tips. I welcome it, actually. Please. Dryness in the air. Okay. Well, yeah, so where I live is a very humid location. It's disgusting. In summer, it's like backseat paint. You know, like how people backseat drive and they give like tips and tricks on how to drive to people and people get annoyed by it? I don't have the patience for miniatures. That is so fair. These can be little frustrating guys. I just find it quite therapeutic, actually. But yeah, back to what I was saying. Yeah, dryness in the air is not something that I experience very often here. It is humid and disgusting. The only time it's kind of dry is when it's freezing cold in the middle of winter. Which I'm so excited for because I am a big winter guy. Big fan of it. I would have winter all year round if that was an option to me. Something that I have like toyed with the idea of is like I could move to Tasmania very easily. Do I see the paint dry? Which I just... Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's really good to know actually. Maybe that's why when I tried to use an airbrush at work, it was like a really cool environment. Like, okay, so you work with airbrush professionally. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so where I work is a very, very cold environment, and when I have used makeup airbrush for makeup, it went so weird. And maybe it's because I work in that cold environment. When I say cold environment, like it's like refrigerated, basically, is what I mean. You like wondering you live in superhuman Summerland. I know, but this is why I've said, like, I have toyed with the idea of moving to like Tasmania to where it's cold all the time, because that sounds amazing to me. I could also do Melbourne. Melbourne seems a bit more doable than Tasmania. I moved to Tasmania on purpose. Well, I'd have to find work down there, and that sounds a bit difficult. Okay, so this guy has got his purple layer over the contrast, which is great. I'm now going to go in and do all of the metal, the weapons. It works and it feels and looks good. It does look amazing. I have seen in like display cabinets at like some game stores people's Warhammers that they've airbrushed before, and oh my god, they look so good. They just look amazing. They look better than these could ever turn out with like paintbrushes. These are the ones done by professionals, by the way. I am in no way a professional. But yes, it does turn out amazing. What was I saying? Oh yes, I need to go in and do all the metals, exposed wiring bits, the weapons and stuff with my little concoction that I make up every time. I have one tip. Do you have like a plate or towel you could use as a palette? I have a palette. I just don't like to use it very much. I'm not a fan of it. It gets a little bit gross too. One second. Oh, that's okay. But yes, I have a wet palette. A tile is interesting. This is noisy, sorry. I had to put a new sheet of paper on it. Well, I'm about to show you what I'd use the wet palette for, okay? Bear with me. This is the one use that I have found for it. The best tool is a use tool. That's such a cute saying. Okay, so what I use my wet palette for is I basically take two colors. Where is my two colors that I use? I use Dryad Bark and Iron Hand Steel, and I take a little bit of both and I make like a gunmetal color. I do it every single time. If you've seen it before, you've seen it before, but if you haven't, I'm about to tell you what I do. So I take some dryad bark. Oh my god, look who's coming to say hello. My little cat. Alright, so I need to take... Yes, I have a kitty. Now my dryad bark has gone gluggy. Bear with me. I need to add some thinner to it. Get out of there. Now this, for this purpose I use the Tamiya X28 thinner to thin out my paints. I am planning on making a video about this on my YouTube channel. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. But I just put a few drops in and I shake it up like crazy. Alright. Alright, we are getting somewhere. I take a little bit of this and I put it on my palette. And then my iron hand steel, which I think also needs some thinner in it. Yep, big time. There is another way that I did this last time though. Last time I was here, I used a different color. I used, instead of that, I put Stormhost Silver into the brown. I just used less of it, but it does give the similar effect. So if I take a little bit of this, oh, too much, and I add it to this brown on the wet palette, it still makes that nice gunmetal color, as you can see, but I just don't like using that for that. I like using the other one, the one that's like ruined. Anyway, let's get back to business. So for this color, this is what I use on all weapons. And any exposed hardware. So I'll show you what I mean in a minute by all exposed hardware. But first I do the weapons. Yeah, it is a nice color, thank you. It's something I discovered early on. I was like just playing around mixing colors together to see what came out of it. And this is my go-to metal color now. So that's for that. But see, so like on this guy's shoulder pads, he's got all this exposed like metal underneath the armor coming through. And this is also what I put there. So I find that with the Stormhost Silver mixture, it's a little glittery. And that's not the vibe that I'm going for with this. So it'll do for now. But I do want to get back to using my iron hand steel for this purpose because it doesn't have as much glittery flakes in it. But you can see it kind of just adds that nice like metal effect to there. I think the glitter just makes it look cleaner than what it is actually supposed to be. But this, he also has a grill on his knee. You could keep mixing in paints like a dark grey. You could. You totally could. I'm more of a keep it simple, stupid kind of guy. So I don't really want to mix more than 2 colors in to do anything. Because then it just gets overcomplicated, you know? But like you absolutely, if you have, you know, the inclination to do that, like there's absolutely nothing stopping you from doing that. This, I'm also going to put it on the like belt thing around the sun, but the sun is going to be in the goldy color. Actually, Alex, and I have a question for you. Do you have recommendations for paints that don't dry out as easily as the Citadel paints do? Valigia or Game Color. Okay. I will need to look into those when I finish today's stream. That's fair. Whereabouts do you live? Where are you from? I'm wondering what to do about the skull on the knee, because I want to do it in like a bony color, obviously because it's a skull, but it kind of flows directly into the trim that's definitely going to be gold. So unless I do like a bit of a blend of gold into the skull. You're from Sweden. That's awesome. Do you stream painting? Or do you have anywhere that you post your painted things on like social media or Discord or anything? Alright, I am putting that away for now. I can always take it back if I need to. I am going to go in with and start. Don't stream. Boring. Ah, that's fair. My Skull Crusher brass layer color and start doing some of the trimming, particularly where the skull is, because I want to figure out what I want to do there. Actually, do you want to do a realistic skull? No. So kind of, but see, okay, let's see if you can see on there. Where the skull is, there's no definitive line. It then goes immediately into the trim that I want to do as the gold. So I have an idea, and it's going to be a method I've never used before, but I have an idea that might just work. It's crazy enough that it might work. Because I want to do obviously gold for the trim, but that needs to look like bone on the front. So I'm thinking of using like a little sponge and sponging the front to kind of blend it into the trim. I have an idea. I need to go grab a little sponge though, so give me 2 seconds to go and grab one. 1 sec. Okay, so, and this is going to come in handy in a few minutes, but this is like a little sponge with a grabber, and this is for nail art. This is not for this purpose, but it's gonna be. I'm gonna make it this purpose because that's what we do around here. Anyway, so I also take this little brush, which is also for nail art, and as is what I do use with the brassy color. See how thin it is? Nail art and Warhammer do go well together, absolutely. I use like fingernail swatches to swatch my paints on. And I have made videos about this, and they went a bit viral actually. This is like what you find in a nail salon. And they just work amazing. So I recommend that. But yeah, look how thin this brush is. It's like a stick. Anyway, let's get on with it. So I'm gonna... I'm sure I've seen that on yeah, it was on Instagram. It got like heaps of views, hundreds of thousands of views. It was on Instagram and TikTok. It's on YouTube Shorts as well. Yeah, you very well could have. If you follow me on Instagram, there's a good chance that's where you followed me from. I use the same username for everything. Gold is punchy. Yeah, it is. It's so vibrant against the purple. I love it. So I'm gonna do the skull all over in the gold, which already is looking really cool, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, the gold skull doesn't look bad, but it's just not the vibe that I'm going for, so I'm still gonna try my little spongy idea. Okay, so now I'm going. This could fuck it up the whole thing, by the way. But I'm gonna take Flayed One Flesh and try something I'm a little nervous for. Let's see what this looks like sponged onto. Let the gold dry. Oh my god. Sorry. Oh dear. Smart. And I'm using the corner of the cube sponge because I don't want to get it on the purple. True, you can always fix things. This is so correct. This is actually working exactly how I thought it was going to. Let's see, can you see that? It kind of looks like it's definitely got like a bony layer to it, and then it goes into the gold trim. Yeah, it did also give it a really good texture, kind of like a bony texture too. That was fantastic. I wasn't sure if that was going to work, but it did. So yes, get yourself one of these and some little sponge cube sponges from Shein or Temu, because that was amazing. I love when I get to try. High five! Thank you. I love when I get to try a new little method, and it just works. Okay, now where's my brush? Let's get back into the gold situation. Thanks, Alex. I'm glad you like it. All right, back in with the gold. Let's get back into trimming this guy up. Previous guy that look armor, it's like a neat skull. I reckon it's just a neat skull. Actually, no. Yeah, no, it's probably just a neat skull he found, and he's like, I'm gonna put this on my knee. It's just to look tough. These guys are posers in my head. I'm so wrong, by the way. I don't know anything about the lore of this game. Oh no. I just make it up as I go. These guys are like the naughty guys though. Neat. Now I'm gonna do arts with it. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna make myself look tougher than I actually am. I really should be having my goggles on right now. There's a lot of trim on these guys. It's yeah, it's a lot. The last stream I did, if you went back and watched that, or if you were here last time, I had the goggles on for it just because of how intricate these guys are. Definitely compared to the regular Space Boys that I did in the first series of Yap and Paint. They were so much easier compared to these guys. I need water. Hello, Remnant of Chaos. Welcome. First time chatting. Also, the fact that you're saying good afternoon implies that you are not in the same time zone as me, because it is very late into the evening. Oh, really? Wait, jealous? Why? Oh no, wait, you can see. I don't know if you can see. We dream to work there. I have marked the gun with gold. Whoopsies. Like Australia, or like you know, Brisbane specific. And where are you based currently? Just in Australia. Yeah, that's fair. Where do you live? Are you from Sweden also? Denmark. Oh. There you go. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining the stream today. I'm sorry. I didn't realize there was that much beef between Sweden and Denmark. Oh no. Oh no, what have I done? Danish people are bad guys. Right, I see. Okay, right. Okay, so it's like a sibling rivalry. Like you can bully each other, but if someone else tries to bully them, you're like, hey man, that's only cool when I do it. Yeah, see, look. We can all be friends in my chat, okay? It's one of the good ones. Oh my god. See? All friends. Anyway, master's thesis comes summer next year, and I'm officially done and plan to look for work in Australia. That's awesome. It's really stinking hot here, just FYI. Particularly where I live is really awful and disgusting. Luckily, like, it's coming into winter, so like at nighttime at the moment it's a little bit cooler. But, oh man. Like, I went to Sydney for a couple of days last week, and like I was wearing a jacket most of each day, and I came back to Brisbane and I got off the plane and I was like, oh my god, it was like stepping into an oven. It was so bloody warm compared to Sydney. Conservational biologist. Australia is so fascinating. Okay. Conservational biologist, that's cool. Every creature got created in yeah, this was a mistake. Yeah, you don't. Yep, absolutely. Now, what did I do with my other guy for the jetpacks? Oh, I kind of did like gold around the top, like a trim up there. I'm going to do the same thing again. This is the guy I did a couple weeks ago. You can catch that video on my YouTube channel and see. Emperor's Children. Now, this was a conversation I had last stream too. I don't know if it's Emperor's Children. I think it is Emperor's Children that I'm doing. Purple and gold. Someone told me in the chat last time. It's been a couple of weeks. But yes, I think the Emperor's Children. Okay, then yes, that's what I'm doing. But I'm kind of thinking of doing something. So on this guy from last week, you might not be able to see, on the little spiky horny things, this one's got a little bit of blood on it, which is cool. This side, don't look at that. But I just did them in the metal color, which was fine. But I'm kind of thinking of actually making them like bone. So doing like the sponging of the flayed one flesh on the spikes and seeing what kind of effect that gives me. I'm gonna do it. Let's do it. So we have my flayed one flesh and this little grabber with a sponge. and I take the corner of like that and dip it into here. Dab, dab, dab. I'm kind of treating this like a makeup look, basically, and I'm just gonna okay, I don't know if I like it, but I'm committing to it. Agrax Earthshade or another brown wash. No, the only browns that I have Nightquester Flesh, or this isn't really brown, is it? Tuskal Fur. The only other brown that I have is the Dryad Bark. This is definitely not giving what I had hoped it would. Like, it's fine. It's fine. I don't hate it. It's just not as good as I fully expected, you know? So what I do when I paint Bone Skull, I do basically okay, interesting. So historically when I've done skulls is I'll do the flayed one flesh color on it, but then I hit them with the white scar like in the highlighted section. So like if it was on me, it's like in the T-zone, so like the where the nose is, like the brow bone, the cheeks and the chin, or like the teeth, they all get the white scar just like in the highest points, purely because like when I'm thinking in a makeup sense, that's what you do with highlights and lowlights, and this is basically my low light when it comes to bone color. You should be able to get sort of figure number. Yeah, okay. But yes, that is like my go-to method when doing skulls. I think I've got one. Probably got one here. Oh my god, looking back on these guys, like they're so basic compared to this. Look at that! Look at this little simple boy to like this guy. Oh my god. You know, you don't realize how far you've come until like you look at them side by side like that. Does this guy have, like, look at this. This is so simple. He doesn't have any skulls. Oh yes, he does. Okay, so on his hand, yeah, basically I just do the white as a highlight in areas. It's not really showing up on the camera very well, but oh my god, look at these two in comparison. That's crazy! Oh my gosh. Oh, I think I just dropped it off the desk. Okay, so now what am I up to with him? Let's put the data fish model under the base. That's a cute idea. I guess like I put it all on YouTube, so there is like semi timestamps on like the footage, I guess, and I don't do a painting unless I'm filming it, so everything is sort of timestamped and recorded anyway. Yeah. Okay, what was I doing now? Oh, so this sword, yes, it's got that metal color on it, but I like it to have a little bit more of a sheen, like a shine to it, like especially on a sword. It just needs a little bit more shiny oomph, you know what I mean? So what do I take? I use, not mixed with anything, Stormhost Silver, just to add a little bit of, ooh. A little bit of shiny oomph to it, you know? It's metal, it's a sword. Swords are supposed to be shiny. And this goes more so like along the edge, like the bladed edge. rather than like everywhere. Excellent. Now I want to add a little bit of red, like how I did with this guy. Just like a little bit, just a little tiny detail on it. Just for fun, you know. These guys are killers. Right on that edge. This is more when it comes to blood. Definitely. So you can kind of see what I'm going for there. Like it's really just on the edge. And it's really like a dry spray of it. Yep, I'm happy with that. I'm stoked. That looks sick. That looks awesome. All right, I am pretty happy with him. However, there is one final step that I like to do, and that is... Oh, where's my tiny paintbrush? Oh, thank you, Alex. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All of these little guys have on them little teeny tiny little... Oh my god, my nails. Look at this. Terrible. Tiny little bolts all over them. And I don't do this in gold because that's the trim. These are like hardware bolts, and I always do them in a silver color because that's what they would be realistically. So I always take my same Stormhost silver and a teeny tiny little detail brush that's for nail art, and I just dot them with this. So like, for example, on this shoulder pad he has a couple down here, silver, and it really just finishes off those little lumps. He doesn't have too many, but he's got some like on his fingers. On the guns especially. On the belt there's a couple. But since we have to play the personal coil thingy. That's my least favorite part. I never like how that turns out on mine. Like, I'll do it, but I'm not happy about it. Just don't do it if you don't want to. That's what I'm thinking. These are my little guys. I think I need to watch more tutorials of doing like luminescent effects, because I haven't quite mastered it, and every time I've tried it just hasn't turned out looking good. I need to build my confidence with that and look up some methods and maybe get some new paints to achieve it. Yeah, great, that's a good idea. Just make it, they're not turned on yet. I'm pretty stoked with how he's turned out. You know what? We're going to roll with that. He didn't turn his gun on today so far. But I think we are about to wrap it up. Pardon me. I have paint all over my fingers and hands. Oh my goodness me. But this is the final product. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But yeah, this is the second of my Chaos Space Marines that I have done. I've got 3 more to go, and then we need to go on to something else. And I think the next thing I'm going to go on to is like a vehicle of some kind, like a bigger model. But this guy has turned out pretty neat. I'm pretty stoked with how he's turned out. I especially love the blood on the sword. I think that was like the cherry on top of this paint. But yeah, I'm stoked about how he's turned out. Yep, I'm pretty proud of that. That skull turned out just to be like, that was an awesome method that I thought of in my little brain, and I'm glad with how it worked out for me. So yeah. If you join me tonight in the chat, thank you so much. It's particularly to Alex and Remnants of Chaos. I really appreciate you guys being here and supporting the channel. Don't forget to follow me if you're not already, subscribing if you'd like to, but also jump on over to my YouTube channel, same username, Nicola Ansi, 2 A's, 2 N's, and giving me a subscribe over there as well, because all of these videos do end up over there. But like I said, thank you again for joining me tonight on the stream. Now, if you are watching over on YouTube when I put this up there, make sure to check out my Twitch channel, Nicola NC, same username, 2 A's, 2 N's, and follow me over there too, so you can watch these live and join in the conversations and the chat, because it's a lot of fun. But yes, I will see you when I see you, and have a good night. I think that's it. Good night. And I'll catch you next time. Bye.